This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Jackthreads. Coming up on Destructoid, Grand Theft Auto 5 will come on 2 discs, a Wild Walking Dead DLC episode appears, and Don Mattrick trades in his Microsoft points for Farmville bucks. All that and more right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville, and
I missed you!
I am happy to have you back.
I got to say it first.
Aw,
I'm
sweet.
happy to be back, though.
How was Singapore?
It was amazing. I can't tell you guys about it just yet, but a lot of other stuff happened while I was gone. I'm sure you guys heard the big news yesterday that Don Mattrick has left Microsoft to become the CEO of Zynga, the only company less respected than Microsoft right now, at least. EA is probably up there also. Mattrick is set to replace the current CEO and founder of Zynga, Mark Pincus, while Microsoft's Steve Ballmer will take over his old position until they can appoint someone new. Some people are saying it might be Phil Spencer. Who knows? In a statement, Mattrick said he joined Zynga because he believes that their pioneering vision and mission to connect the world through games is just getting started. He also added that Zynga is a great business that has yet to realize its full potential. Boy, if I loved anything as much as Don Mattrick loves the word connect, I'd probably be a much happier and more fulfilled person. But as it stands, I don't, so naturally, I'm just a tad bit skeptical about all of this. I mean, Mattrick has done some great stuff for Microsoft, which can't really be denied. But remember that a lot of the problems that Zynga is facing are also problems that Microsoft still has, even after Mattrick has supposedly turned the company around. For instance, a shortage of original IPs. They also have a resistance to outside platforms, of course, and a disturbing lack of self-awareness. These are all traits that both Microsoft and Zynga have. And with Mattrick's already sour reputation after E3, it's going to take a lot to restore the image of Zynga and himself. Granted, those are just the thoughts of some crazy woman on the internet. Zynga stock has already surged 23% since the announcement yesterday, so who knows, maybe some of those shareholders won't have to write economy on their next business flight after all. God willing.
Heavens to Betsy.
Yes.
Ugh. So it's been a while since we heard anything about Grand Theft Auto 5, but today, Rockstar has released a meager smattering of information about this hotly anticipated title.
It's about time.
They just kind of give us little crumbs. They're like, oh, here you go. Enjoy this one screenshot. And we're all like, thank you, merciful Rockstar. Yeah, so the big piece of news to come out of this is that Grand Theft Auto 5 will be coming on 2 discs for Xbox 360, which of course some people are really upset about because they don't have better things to use their emotions for. Now, according to Rockstar, the first disc will be used to install the game, and then the second disc will be kept in during play, so there's no need for disc swapping for single or multiplayer. They're both on the second disc. You just leave that in there. The install will take about 8 gigs of free space, which can either be on the hard drive or on a 16 gig USB 2.0 flash drive with a minimum of 15 megs a second read speed. Meanwhile, the PlayStation 3 version will come on 1 disc because it's a PlayStation 3 game and require an 8 gig install when the disc is first inserted because it's a PlayStation 3 game. When asked about PC and next-gen versions of GTA 5, Rockstar gave their usual "we have no comment at this time" comment. So there you go.
Yeah, that was a comment, huh?
Wow.
How about that, Rockstar?
Yeah. But yeah, so as for actually interesting gameplay details, one of the big questions that we've kind of had about switching between the 3 characters in game, which we kind of know about already, was what happens if you can make them interact? Because you can only play as one of them at a time. Like when you're off mission, they're kind of all doing their own separate things. Apparently, it will be possible for Trevor, Michael, and Franklin to track each other down when they're not on missions. It might take some work because it's a massive, huge world to explore. But apparently, they'll be able to interact kind of like the player character would with a normal NPC, except it won't be possible to kill them. However, it will be possible to injure them enough that if you sort of time your switching of characters right, you'll just end up in the hospital. So I'm guessing if you do something where you get in a car with each other and then drive off a cliff and then switch between one of them or jump out or something, but I mean, I know that people are going to do some really weird stuff with this. We're going to see some very interesting Let's Plays coming out of this game. I mean, people have made it so you can be an elephant in Grand Theft Auto 4, so God only knows what's going to happen with this. Of course, another question that Rockstar fielded is that GTA 5 will come with a paper map, as have all the other games in the series, though the game is so large that it's going to have to be a double-sided map. These are the questions people have. Will it have a poster? Yes, it'll have a poster. And then finally, Rockstar is still on track for a September 17th release date, so any talk of delays is just fiffle-faffle and horse nonsense.
Well, at least they're not wasting paper.
True. That's good that they're using both sides of the paper. Also, they did address the fact that they are going to try and crack down on cheaters in the multiplayer, which apparently has been a problem.
Really?
In GTA 4, which is kind of funny because the game's been out for 4, 5 years or something.
Only those hardcore players are still doing that one.
Be thankful that servers are still up.
Yes, indeed. So it feels like forever since I've talked about The Walking Dead, mostly because it has. But guess what? Now I have a reason to again. Telltale just announced the release date for 400 Days. This is the first and only DLC for the game. And turns out it's today. It's out today.
Huh.
There you go. In case you are unaware, 400 Days is meant to sort of bridge the gap between seasons 1 and 2. And it's called 400 Days because it takes place from day 1 of the apocalypse up until the 400th day. So the time period is still technically the same as all of the first season. The interesting thing is that even though it's one episode, it's actually comprised of 5 vignettes, each from a different perspective of a different protagonist. So it's kind of done in the style of Pulp Fiction, where all the stories are sort of linked together in the end. Obviously, any choices that you made during the first season are going to be factored in, and likewise, any choices you make in the DLC will have some future bearing on Season 2, which we still know absolutely nothing about. All I can say about 400 Days plot-wise is that it centers around a truck stop in Georgia. That's all. That's not all I can say, rather. That's all I will say, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Obviously, it's a very story-intensive game. As for release dates on this DLC, they are a little confusing since it does vary from platform to platform. If you want to grab it today, you will have to get it on PSN in America, I believe, or really anywhere outside of Europe. It's out today. Or you could wait until tomorrow, July 3rd, for the PC and Mac release. Then Friday, July 5th, it'll be out on Xbox Live. And then next Thursday, July 11th, is the iOS release. And a note, like I said, those of you in Europe who use PSN will have to wait until July 10th. So yeah, there it is. As for price, the DLC costs $4.99. You will have to own the first episode already in order to buy it. It's kind of unclear if that means you will have had to have played it. I assume that you do, since your choices carry over. But I'm pretty sure you don't have to have completed the full season. Though, if you want to buy this DLC, I highly recommend that you do.
Why would you not, you know?
I don't know. If for some reason you do not own the first episode, Sony actually has the first one free on PSN right now, so you can grab that. Or, of course, you can just wait until August when they are coming out with the full Walking Dead Vita bundle, which is going to contain all of Season 1 and the 400 Days episode as well. So
400 Days of Summer.
I know.
Ah, it's cute. Anyway, if you've been reading the internet website networks today, you might have seen a mention of the latest game from Klei Entertainment, who are the guys behind Don't Starve and Mark of the Ninja. And the new game is called Incognita, and it is a turn-based tactical espionage game, which... oh my, that sounds good. So they got a website up where you can enter your email to file a request for more information on the game, but otherwise it's pretty hush-hush so far. However, Klei co-founder Jamie Cheng spoke to Rock Paper Shotgun and gave a bit of insight. Here's the idea. If you play the new XCOM, it's 90% positioning, 10% information gathering, and 90% positioning. The idea behind Incognita, we want information to be power. We want information to be a very key part of your experience. So whereas the idea is in XCOM, you're kind of, figuring out where people are and figuring out what's going on. In this, I think they want it to be like a much more thought-provoking tactical approach. So I guess like a stealthier XCOM, I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
It sounds almost puzzle-ish the way they're describing it.
Yeah. Turn-based used to be a thing that really turned me off. Like that was a phrase that I was not into, and XCOM completely changed that. So I'm very excited about this. Cheng also told Rock Paper Shotgun that Incognita aims to be an evolving game, and that they're going to take feedback from players early on and keep it in mind during development, which has worked really well for them with their most recent PC title, Don't Starve, which is kind of a emergent survival open thingy with the weird persistent, words.
That's actually the quote on the back of the box.
Yeah,
so.
Just some weird stammering. Just don't starve. It's a game where you try to eat things. But yeah, Incognita is going to have an open alpha PC launch in late summer, and it'll be coming to the Mac and presumably Linux sometime later. And I really like this approach because they're like, you get feedback from people who are playing the game.
It's great. It usually turns out a better final product too. Also.
So.
So we have more news, but first, why don't we take a moment to thank our sponsor. If you guys hate shopping for clothes, but you still want to impress the ladies, that's me, might we suggest Jack Threads? Jack Threads has quickly become the #1 online shopping destination for guys. They serve up the hottest contemporary and street apparel at crazy cheap prices. Whether you're looking for summer clothes, maybe you want accessories, or even gadgets, They've got all the top brands you're looking for, like Converse and Penguin, at up to 50% off retail price. And all of their styles are curated, so you never have to worry about buyer's remorse. They just don't have bad stuff. Best of all, as a Destructoid viewer, you can skip the membership waitlist and get instant access right now. Just visit signup.jackthreads.com/Destructoid. That is a new link, so make sure you're paying attention. Every sign up helps support the show and gets you one step closer to looking fine.
I need to get on there because I'm wearing promotional swag shirts at this point.
I saw some of your episodes last week. It's getting dire.
It's been laundry day for a while now.
Yeah, it has. Back to the news. So I mentioned earlier The Walking Dead and how it's coming to PS Vita, but there is another awesome game coming to the Vita and PlayStation 3 later this year, and that is Proteus. So if you haven't been paying attention to Proteus, this is a procedurally generated exploration game, meaning there is no story, no dialogue whatsoever. Your goal is simply to explore your surroundings. But there is a beginning, a middle, and an end. So even though it seems like you're just sort of walking around aimlessly, there actually is a greater purpose at hand. The music is probably my favorite thing about the game, and it's interesting because it adapts to what you're doing, so it all sort of comes together for a very beautiful and strangely relaxing experience, which is, I think, what we need more of in games. Truthfully, this kind of seems like it would be better for a television than a handheld device, since the bigger screen is probably a little bit more immersive. But that actually works out really well, since it was announced as part of Sony's cross-buy program. So now, if you have both a PS3 and a Vita, you do not have to pay for it twice to have it on both. You could just play it on both. It's wonderful. If you've been curious about this game, it is actually out right now on Steam for PC, Mac, and Linux. It's $10 on there. They haven't announced a price for the Sony versions yet, just a release window of this fall, but I'm sure it'll be consistent with the current pricing.
I'm so happy about this news.
Game.
I love this game. I'm seriously really into this. It's basically Far Cry 3 if nothing tried to kill you.
Yeah,
which sounds
it is.
boring, but it is nice.
It's really nice, and I'm happy about it coming to consoles because I want to watch it on
I'm
television.
actually stoked about it on the Vita. I mean, it's obviously you don't get the full kind of immersive thing, but if you're playing with some big ass headphones on, oh my God, they've got another cross-buy thing is Hotline Miami on Vita and PS3, and holy shit, is that fun with some big ass headphones on. I'm really excited about all these games that are coming to the cross-buy PlayStation thing. Like, I am very happy to be a Vita owner right now.
Yeah, you are. I was reading an article earlier today, actually, that was saying that the Vita fan base is small, but they are a dedicated bunch. They have like
the
every
Council
Vita
of 12
owner,
smiles
buys
today.
like 10 games on average or something, which is apparently pretty high for handheld
Well,
consoles,
if you can afford a Vita, you probably have some money lying around. Yeah, so that's about all the time for today's show. As always, you guys can go follow us on Twitter. I'm Max Scoville, she's Tara Longest, and the show is D-Toid Show. And for all of the written video game news words you can see with your eyeball brains, you should go check out Destructoid.com. And to see the fun video stuff we do, go check out YouTube.com/Rev3Games. Go watch this week's episode of my show, Study Hall. It's all about ninjas.
Copyrighted ninjas, apparently.
Yes, I got flagged by FIFA, the soccer organization. I'm not kidding. That was weird. I don't know. Apparently they got ninja stuff. Anyway, we will not be here on Friday because it is the day after the 4th of July, and we are all going to be nursing hangovers, sunburns, and fireworks-related injuries like proud goddamn Americans. And Tara's going on vacation.
Yes.
So we'll see you guys back here in a week on the other Tuesday from now.
I miss you. Don't be bad.
Be good.